All right, welcome to Seaside, Coney Island. Dave Gardner along with Jim Fuse, and we are here for soccer game night. Jim, we have some special guests tonight.
Yeah, we do. We're having our preseason show for the women's soccer for Onslow and Carteret County, and we've got the privilege of having Coach Doug Kidd from Swansboro High School, Coach Dave Miller from Jacksonville High School, and we have Cam Ormsby from the Jacksonville Area Soccer Association. He's the director of coaching. So, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out today.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Appreciate you having us. Appreciate it.
And so, women's soccer, really big in this area. You guys, I guess you start tryouts next week. We'll start with you, Coach Kidd. What are you thinking about this upcoming season?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. We have a great group of girls coming back, just good people, but also a good nucleus as well. I think we'll be a pretty solid team again this year.
And Coach Miller, you guys, I know Coach Kidd, I won't try to make him hurt too much. You beat him and then went to the state championship game and didn't quite get the state championship, but how you feeling about your guys' chances this year?
Feel pretty good. Lost a couple key players from the back in the midfield. So I'm hoping some of the young girls that are returning are going to be able to fill those holes, and it's putting the pieces together and make it work. And hopefully it'll end up like it has the past 2 years, where we meet each other in the Eastern Final, and one of us goes on to the state championship.
Guys, talk about how fun it is competing against each other every year.
I don't know if you call it fun. No, actually, it's a lot of fun. We kind of joke at the beginning of the year that, and again, it all comes down to what the brackets look like. And we've been fortunate the past 2 years with the brackets coming down that, we had the opportunity to face each other in Eastern Finals. And, they've been classic games. And, if they had high school soccer classic channel, we'd be on there because, both games went sudden death, went to PKs. And, so it's been fun. And the conference games are drag out brawls, and we get done and the kids are friends and coaches are friends, and it's just good competition.
Talk about how much the meeting every year means to the student athletes. Do they look forward to this game every year? Is it kind of maybe a little bit of a rivalry?
Oh, I think it's a huge rivalry. We joke about it all year long, away from the seasons, and the kids look forward to it. It's kind of 2 games the kids mark on the calendar and say, all right, these are big games, and and when it comes down to it, we know we're probably going to see each other for a third time in the playoffs somewhere.
What do you think makes it so special, that matchup?
I think it's our bubbling personalities. No, honestly, it's the kids play together. The girls play together with club ball in the off season. They do indoor together. They compete against each other, and it's one of those friendly rivalries. It's great because leading up to the kickoff, the kids are joking around with each other, having a good time. The whistle blows, they hate each other. Last whistle blows, and they're back to being friends, and cutting up and congratulating each other. And so it's a lot of fun to see that with the kids.
Since we have both of you at the same table sitting next to each other, and we have some security if we need it, I wanted to ask you the question. Talk about, I'll give each of you a chance to answer this. Talk about one of the best moments that you remember in recent history playing each other.
Let's see. All right. Honestly, I would have to say it's past 2 Eastern Finals. It's unbelievable that you split during the regular season. I think we split again last year, didn't we?
No, you had the better of us.
Okay. Well, 2 years ago we split the season, but both competitive games last year. And for it to come down 2 years in a row to the Eastern Final, you go through regulation, you go through overtime, you go through sudden death overtime, and then you go through PKs. And it's impressive watching those girls leave it all out on the field, 2 years in a row, and hopefully we get to do it again for the third.
Coach Kidd?
Well, I think what stands out for me is the level of competition between the 2 teams and the level of soccer. It's a really good game, and then to see the number of people that come out and support both teams, I don't think it matches. I don't think any other school can match the number of people we put in the stands for those 2 games we had. And then on top of it, what makes it enjoyable for me is, you get to compete against somebody who's also a great friend of yours. So yeah, you're disappointed if you lose, but you're happy for them at the same time. So, like I said, like Dave was saying, when you meet and you guarantee somebody going to that state championship game, it makes it even more special for our programs, for our area, and Onslow County Soccer just standing out and doing a good job.
And I'll tell you from a fan's perspective, because I was able to be at both of those games. 2 years ago, Coach Kidd, I think a lot of people made quite a bold move when he put his leading scorer, Kimmy Moore, in the goal.
Best athlete.
The penalty kicks, and she stopped, I think it was every shot. And then last year, Madison Hoops, who's one of the top players in the area, let alone for Jacksonville, she was the one that took charge and got that winning goal for Jacksonville. So, and just both incredible games and intense throughout.
Yeah, in those games you had the big players stepping up for you, and you named two of them for sure in the last 2 years, and that's what you hope for. Your players, especially your better players, playing their best, and it's what helps your team achieve and go reach the goals they want to achieve them.
And Coach, who do you see as being the leaders of the Swansboro team this year?
Well, I think Brianna Kropanak for sure, and Shannon Park, probably our two biggest ones right there. They've had good off seasons with their club teams. We're going to need for some other people to step up and, like Dave was saying, with this team, fill some holes that we graduated the last couple of years. And like I said, they're a great group of girls. They're really gelling with each other in the off-season workouts and showing well. So, but I think those two are key for us right now.
And Coach Miller, who do you see as your key players?
Madison, not only on the field, but she's really stepped up, organizing off-season workouts. Alexis Henderson's been another one. Ramsey Osborne, they've taken it upon themselves and had a group of girls, and they've been going to one of the local gyms and working a couple days a week in the gym, and then they're going out and doing free play and whatnot. So a couple of those seniors have really stepped up and kind of taken the girls, and say, let's go.
Talk about some of the roster changes, guys, that you had from last year to this year.
I've got quite a few. I'm graduating 3 starters from the back, 3 from the midfield. Lexi Moore was left early at NC State, so but I've had a couple of those younger girls who got quality minutes last year. Now going to get the chance to start, and the biggest area of concern right now for me is really in the back and just trying to put the pieces together, and then central midfield, losing Kate Spade and Tess Friesen and Allia Owens. So there's a couple holes, but I think I've a matter of finding the pieces and putting them in the right places, and hopefully by the end of the year we've got it right.
Yeah, barring any injuries, I think we got 3 of our 4 backs coming back. We've got good goalkeeping coming back this year. Midfield wise, we're pretty stacked, but we do have some youth up top. Are we going to be able to score goals? I think is the key, because we graduated. Tyler Ring, who was scoring goals for us, KP was scoring goals for us, and then just having that. There's going to be that one player to just do it every game for us, like Abby Taylor, like Kimmy Moore the last 2 years, and we're hoping Brianna Kropanak will be that player for us.
Sure. Talk to us about how important it is that after the high school soccer season that you have organizations like JASA that's able to help keep the kids playing soccer continuously throughout the year. So talk about how important that is to keep it for your students mentally and physically.
It's huge. Soccer is a year-round sport, and to reach the high level, you have to do it. And programs like JASA and other programs in the area give our players the opportunity to do so with quality coaching, and I'm thankful for them, because if we don't have to do as much with them, and we're coaching the guys teams and the girl teams in the opposite season, so they have a good program to play for is just huge for us.
Gives them an opportunity to sometimes play with students from other schools as well, and like you guys noted.
Yeah, that's really what helps the rivalries. The girls play together on the different club teams, and so when they get in the heat of battle, when the game's over with, they're back to being friends, and that really helps.
Now, do we have a lot of indoor soccer in this area, or does it seem like it's more just like tournaments?
Yeah, for the elite level players like these guys are dealing with, there's a few indoor tournaments in the month of January that a lot of kids participate in. That kind of thing is kind of pick your buddies, and it's not necessarily affiliated with a club or with a specific team, but it is good for the kids to get out and kind of organize themselves in those type of events. And the indoor soccer is great for their foot skills and getting them ready for the high school season on the girls' side.
Do you see the development of maybe an indoor soccer facility anytime in the near future?
Oh, Jim, we could only dream. I don't. People talk about it all the time. I don't see anything on the horizon that's tangible that we can talk about. But people talk about it all the time. In the past, there was one in the Jacksonville area. I think it's critical for us to be able to get in and have our kids playing indoor soccer, futsal soccer, and doing that kind of stuff in the off season is critical. But if you know anybody that has money that wants to donate and build a facility, we'd surely put it to good use around the clock.
I'm asking this question to Cam Ormsby from the Jacksonville Area Soccer Association, known as JASA. This question: do you follow a lot of the soccer seasons for all the high schools as it's going on throughout the year?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you were to talk to my wife, she'd probably say too much sometimes. These guys are talking about their rivalries and their games, and I've already looked at the high school season, and as much as I can and still be able to get out to my club responsibilities, I've circled games on the calendar where I can see a Jacksonville Swansboro game, I can see a Swansboro White Oak, a White Oak Dixon, and some of the bigger high school rivalries out there, and I go to as many of them as I can.
Now, how long has JASA been around?
Since 1976. JASA was formed right around the same time that youth soccer became organized in North Carolina with NCYSA, one of the original founding clubs.
And talk to us a little bit about the structure of JASA. You have coaches that coach at certain levels. You have a lot of players that are involved in JASA. You have quite a few fields. And give us kind of a rundown on the specs of JASA.
Yeah, so we're a full service club, which means that we provide opportunities from kids from 4 years old all the way up to 18 years old. And we break that down into a couple of different levels. We have the recreation level, which is 4 years old to 18. Some of that is kids that are just getting involved in the sport for the very first time. And some of that is some of our older players in the recreation that are just playing to have a good time and play with their neighborhood friends. We also have our competitive side, which is split into two categories, our select level and then our classic level. Those kids are traveling all across the region. Some of them are traveling across the state, and some of them are traveling across the southeast, playing in tournaments and league games and things like that.
So JASA's been around for over 4 decades now. It shows that there's a very good structure, Jim, when it comes to the organization. And you yourself know quite a bit about JASA. You've been involved in soccer for an awful long time. And it just shows the reputation of soccer in Onslow County and the surrounding areas to help support JASA as much as JASA supports its local talent. Is there anywhere, or where can the listeners go if they were interested in donating possibly to JASA?
Yeah, we have a website that has a host of information. jasa-nc.com is our website. And on that website, you'll find out information about registration for recreation, tryouts for our competitive teams. You'll also find out information about our coaching staff, those kinds of things.
And you guys are starting something pretty exciting, Cam, the TOPS program. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about the program. It's TOPS Soccer, which stands for the Outreach Program. And the Outreach Program is a U.S. soccer program that deals with kids with disabilities. That could be a physical disability, it could be a cognitive disability, and it's a way for us, again, as a full-service club to not only deal with kids from 4 to 18, but also that kid on the sideline that maybe has a brother or sister that's always been to the game but has never been able to participate. We have 47 kids signed up for our first season. I am nervously excited about that. Our director, Renee Warnemont, who is doing all the admin and organization of it, has worked tirelessly of getting the word out there for kids to sign up. And the biggest thing that she's in the process of doing now is for each athlete that we sign up, we also provide them with a buddy, with a partner who assists that athlete around the field while they're going through the practices and the games. So if there's anybody out there that would enjoy working with this population, or has a son or a daughter that would benefit from playing soccer and being a part of something, you can definitely contact Renee at our website, jazza-nc.com, and find out more. We're starting to kick off. I think it's March 19th is our first Sunday. I believe I have that date right, but I know it's after daylight saving. It'll be our first Sunday that we'll start with the kids.
And now, with these volunteers, are you looking for? Do it have to be a certain age or a certain criteria?
Yeah, so what we'll do is I'm in charge of designing all of the curriculum, all the soccer side of it. So our buddies and our volunteers, they don't have to know anything about soccer. They just have to have a heart for dealing with kids and a passion for being out there and helping young people. We'll provide them with the curriculum and the know-how and a little bit of training of kind of what they're getting into. There's different kids with different disabilities, and we'll kind of go over that with them of what are the expectations, what to expect in dealing with this population. We're just looking for people who want to help kids and make a kid happy.
You have over 40 plus athletes right now that are going to be participating in Top Soccer, and I'm going to tell you, first of all, as a parent, it's awesome that that's happening in Onslow County. Is Top Soccer being used anywhere else right now?
So in the state of North Carolina, there are only 7 other clubs. Now there's 90 clubs across the state of North Carolina similar to Jazza, and there's only 7 of them that right now do an official Top Soccer program. There may be a few others that do something unofficially. The closest to us are down in Wilmington, which we've gotten a lot of advice from those guys of how they run their program. And then the other really big one's in the Raleigh area with the Castle program. They do a phenomenal job at theirs. And again, we've gotten after their leadership and how do you do things, what works, what doesn't work, as we're trying to get off the ground.
Before we take our first break, I just want to say that could have a very huge impact on a lot of lives that, wouldn't be able to be reached without having a program like that. So to the listeners, please make the call you got to make. Make sure to support these programs in Onslow County. Definitely an honor and a privilege to be able to talk about that tonight on the show. Welcome back live to Seaside, Coney Island in beautiful Swansboro, North Carolina. Now, guys, we've been talking about soccer for a little bit, but we're sitting right next to the menu here at Seaside, Coney Island, and we're all getting treated, if you will, to some good food after the show today. What looks good to you guys?
I think I like the shroom burgers, looking really good. You get 3rd pound of patty with mushrooms, onions, Swiss cheese, and a really good bun. I mean, I think that's what I'm looking at.
I'm going for the deep fried Oreos. Forget dinner. I'm going
Straight to dessert, Coach. I like it. That looks delicious.
I'm going dang burger, fried green tomatoes, minnow cheese, jalapenos. Can't beat it.
I'm a creature of habit, so I'm going for a Carolina dog, chili cheese, mustard, onion slaw.
And I tell you what, last time I was here, I had the deep fried Oreos, so I'm going to tally number 2 on that, but I'm also going to add something else, because if you would like sliders, there's very few places to get sliders right now, and they have blackened sliders that comes with Swiss cheese, crispy onions, and a specialty sauce with hand-cut fries, and that is here at Seaside, Coney Island in Swansboro, North Carolina. Boy, I cannot wait.
You want to come here on Tuesday for that because then they're only $1.
Oh, man, you shouldn't have told me that.
A little shout out from the crowd. I like it.
Well, I'll be here. You know where to
Thank
find me every Tuesday up here at Seaside, Coney Island. And I'm going to get some chili cheese fries. Always got to go with the chili cheese fries as well. There's not too many times when you're involved in sports in the media that you get to hear a story that is such inspiring and that could play such a big impact. And I was talking with Cam Ormsby of JASA, as you're right across from me, during the break, Cam, and you said something to me that I think is definitely worth sharing with our listeners today, and it's the story of how Top Soccer came to Onslow County.
Yeah, so at our club, the last couple of years, we've known about the Top Soccer program. It's been something that's been a vision of ours. But it wasn't until Renee Warnemont, who is our Top Soccer director, came to us with a passion. And she has worked tirelessly to see this vision come to fruition. And the reason for that is Renee has a son that plays within our club but she also has a daughter, little Katie, who is a special needs child. And for years, Katie's been going to the soccer fields, watching her brother play. And to be honest, it's time for Katie to get out on the field and play. And with volunteers like Renee and a sponsorship from Dr. Arus, a dentist out of Jacksonville, with people like that, it's really made this program take off. And we've been working on it for only 3 months now, full go, and to have 47 kids signed up and excited and ready to play soccer come March, I'm really pumped about it.
And what is the fee? What is the fee if you were to want to get signed up or your child signed up for this program?
Yeah, the best part about the program for this population, because they already have, some of these families already have enough struggles as it is. Dr. Arus out of Jacksonville has made a very generous donation to the club, and it's free registration for these families. They need to be able to provide shin guards and socks and athletic wear for the kids. But we're providing all the soccer balls, we provide all the instruction, the registration, their jersey, all that's provided through the club via Dr. Arus.
And that, again, I want to thank Jazza for their part of bringing top soccer to Onslow County. I think it's a great thing and going to impact a lot of lives, Jim.
Absolutely. When we get back here towards high school soccer, first of all, I know, Coach, we got a really big event coming up early in the season, and that's the Battle at the Beach. You want to let the folks know what that's all about?
Yeah, it's definitely our signature event for the season. 34 girls teams from across the state coming to Onslow County to play, so we're excited about that. It's the biggest one ever. The event's going to be held Friday, March 3rd and Saturday, March 4th. On the 3rd, on Friday, all the games will be played at local high schools, all 7 Onslow County high schools, as well as Croatan High School. And then on Saturday the 4th, all the games will be played at the OCSA Soccer Complex. We have an incredible field this year, all abilities as far as 1A to 4A private schools. We got some really good teams coming. We have a lot coming from Charlotte this year. And give a shout out to Kerry Dale, who's head coach at Hickory Ridge High School now. A Swansboro alumnus, was an All-State and NSCA All-Region player, and she's bringing her team to play us on Friday night at Swansboro. So we're really excited to have one of our own coming back.
And Coach Miller, you guys mentioned to me earlier that one of our own, so to speak, in the soccer community, Buddy Carroll, his wife is going through an ordeal.
Yeah, she's been diagnosed with breast cancer. She's presently down in Texas getting treatment. And White Oak High School tonight at the Jacksonville White Oak basketball game is having a pink out. Anybody that wears pink, there's going to be a $1 donation made to help her fund. They also have a GoFundMe account set up to help pay for some of their medical costs. And it's one impressive thing about in Onslow County. I've been here over 23 years. 23 years at Jacksonville High School, a few years with the Marine Corps, and it's amazing to see the soccer community in Onslow County come together and help soccer people out. I mean, it's impressive to see. You throw away your rivalries, your schools, and they come together. It's pretty impressive to see.
Hey, Coach Miller, you talk about coming together as a whole, and one thing about high school sports, you guys already know this, it's great to have a winning season. You guys have been very successful as soccer coaches, especially when you have a good feeder system like Jazza, helping keep the kids physically and mentally involved in the game, and also helping produce kids before they get to the high school level. You have elementary and middle school as well. A lot of soccer being played throughout Onslow County. We'll talk about that in a minute. But one thing that I really wanted to ask you coming into tonight, what else do you teach the kids besides wins and losses in high school sports?
I mean, it's every day. You try to teach a life lesson, something that's going to help them be successful in life. Some days it falls right in your lap and it's real easy. Some days, you got to work at it. But I mean, it's amazing the opportunities that we have to influence these kids, and we may not see it immediately, but some of those kids that I first taught at Jacksonville High School and coached, and come back and say, "Hey, coach, you made a difference," and and that means a lot. I mean, you really don't realize the impact you have on some of these kids until they grow up and they let you know really what kind of impact you had.
Yeah, to piggyback what he said, it's definitely what you're trying to do. It's not just trying to prepare them for life and help them be successful. And a great story from this past season, we were eliminated in the quarterfinals. Things didn't go our way. Felt like we could have gotten some better calls or some no calls. But what concerned me is how was my team going to react to that? So we had our postseason meeting the Monday after the game, and we talked about it. And I said, guys, what were your thoughts? And not one kid on my team brought up that it was somebody else's fault. They all looked themselves in the mirrors and said, we could have done this better, coach. We should have done this better. And it was not blamed on anybody else. And I thought that was a great lesson for them to learn, looking themselves in the mirror and taking responsibility for their actions and accepting responsibility for it, being held accountable. And I think that's what it's all about in high school athletics, and not just the wins, but preparing them for life.
And I think you can tell how much the tutoring or the mentorship, if you will, means to the students by what they say about their coach when their coach is not standing next to them. And the last time we had a show here at Seaside, Coney Island, we had an opportunity to sit down with Cameron Underseth and also Cadence Tootle. And we sat and talked to them for about 45 minutes. And the stuff that they had to say and the compliments that they had for you, Coach Kidd, it was incredible. It was really fun to listen to those two young men talk about their future and what they had gone through to get to that point, not only in their soccer career, but in their life in general. So that to me was kind of the icing on the cake. As a father with a high school student now, just new to me this year, my daughter is a high school student, and at Northside High School, and I have 3 more to follow right after that, and then 2 more that aren't quite in school yet. But so it's incredible, guys. When you talk about high school sports and you talk about just Onslow County schools in general, we call a lot of sports on WABQ radio. WABQ, we do football, basketball, and no matter where we go, we get the same compliments from, you can tell when you walk into an Onslow County school, you can tell the difference. And, I'm from New York, so a little different up there, but that you can tell that the respect that they have for their coaches.
Well, I appreciate it. I have to pay those guys later, by the way.
Well, Coach, both you and Coach Miller, I don't know, it's unique in some aspects, but not only do you coach the girls, but you coach the boys as well. What do you see as some of the similarities and some of the differences in coaching boys versus girls?
You had to ask that question, didn't you?
No prep time for that one. No, it's very different. I joke with my girls. The hardest thing I had to adjust was coaching boys. I got the girls' job at Jacksonville High School. That's really the first time I've coached girls. Well, it was miserable warm-up because I didn't understand it. That was kind of their social time. So it took me several years to figure it out. Okay, just tell them what to do, let them do it. And so a few years later, girl I had coached during club ball, played for me. She came to me and said, Coach, I come down around lunch during warm-ups. I said, Chelsea? I said, what are you guys talking about? Well, we're talking about the prom. We're talking about, what's going on this weekend. I said, yep. I said, what am I doing? She says, well, you're talking to the other coaches, referees. I said, exactly. I let you do your thing. And she got it because, but it's amazing with girls, with guys you got to stay on top of, keep focused. With the girls, as soon as that first whistle blows, they play. With guys, during warm-up what kind of game you're going to have. With girls, you don't know. So it's mentally they're just totally different. And how you got to treat them and how you coach them. And, girls, be a little more relaxed. Guys, you got to, kind of stay on top a little bit.
Talk about how technology has played a factor into the competitive nature of soccer. I think the skill sets have changed over the past few years, especially with games like FIFA, which nobody can beat me at, by the way. Like we had this talk with Cam Ormsby last time on the show. But talk about how that has changed the way that you have to coach.
I don't know if it changes the way you have to coach. The kids are more knowledgeable about the game. A few years ago, one of the trips we had, I'm driving the bus, my assistant coach, and the kids were talking about FIFA and the lineups, and so my assistant coach said, all right, well, if you can make your perfect lineup in real soccer, and so literally for 30 to 45 minutes, they had an intelligent conversation about the soccer stars throughout the world, their strengths, weaknesses. It was impressive to hear these high school kids are that engrossed, and a lot of it has to do with FIFA and the fact they play with it, they see these guys, they watch them on TV, and a lot of them are walking soccer encyclopedias. It's fun to have these conversations with the kids. Because, when I was growing up, you were fortunate every now and then to catch an EPL game or a Bundesliga game on PBS, which was tape delayed or replayed. And, that's the only soccer you saw on TV. Occasionally, you'd see, maybe the Cosmos on TV occasionally. But, kids aren't exposed to it. And now, it's everywhere with FIFA and, cable TV. They're walking encyclopedias on the game.
With having some new teams in 3A next year, there is a realignment that has happened, and the playoff formats have changed a little bit. I think last year was the pilot year for the playoffs. So talk about, has that had any impact on you guys at all?
I've already, I'm working on my guys' schedule for this coming fall, and we'll be in the new conference. It's different already with that. We're only having 10 conference games, which is a lot less than what we've been used to. It's been at least 12 or 14. So finding some games, the week before conference starts, or even 2 weeks out from conference starting, has been extremely difficult already. And I'm going to think Dave and I are going to have to dig deep to find some other teams or other conferences that match up with ours and aren't playing a conference tournament. As far as the formatting of the 20, 30, 30, 20, is what it is. I don't have much to say besides that.
The thing is, your 2A and 3A playoffs across the board, all sports, are going to be so much more competitive because you're not going to have the big gap like we've had in the past. Whereas 4A and 1A, everybody's pretty much getting in the playoffs. So I think 3A and 2A playoffs for all sports will be so much more competitive. The big thing is we don't know what the format's going to be next year. That won't be approved by the High School Athletic Association until May at the board meeting. So, Doug and I are the same philosophy. You try to play the best, get you prepared for the playoffs. It may hurt your record going in, which a lot of people didn't like about this year's. But, you play that high level competition, you're better prepared in the playoffs, and it gets you through.
Sure, and to touch on what you said, Coach Miller, last year's playoffs, it was the first year that they didn't accept a certain amount from each conference.
Right.
After the conference leaders, they went to overall record, which made it hard to fill games, because in the past where you could fill a game with some tougher competition or more stiff competition, you guys were kind of the kings of the castle, if you will. So a lot of teams were not calling you to say, hey, will you come fill a game for us? They'd rather go to a team that maybe had 2 or 3 victories during the year. And I think that made it kind of tough. And it also, I think it kind of hurt going into the playoffs because you didn't have a lot of high competitive games as you were getting ready into the playoffs unless you were playing each other.
Yeah, I didn't really have much of an issue with that last year because I think a lot of the teams and the coaches that we have connections with and like to play have the same philosophies as what Dave was saying. Let's play each other, let's play the best to be the best we can be. So I didn't really run into that yet, but I'm maybe seeing a little bit of it right now with this scheduling for the fall.
Like you said, the playoff format won't be approved until May, so if it's the same format, it's going to be survive and adapt anyway. So
that's it. And I'd rather play. I try to play the Wilmington schools every chance I get. It's good competition. Because that's what's going to get you ready for playoffs. Playing cupcakes all the way through, you're not ready. And I think it hurts teams that go in with the 18-0 record and haven't played anybody, and then when they get in a tight game, they struggle because their kids can't handle it.
Along those lines, what do you think it is about soccer in the Onslow County area that makes it so competitive? Like even with the Raleighs and the Charlottes, because when you look at the number of state championships that come back to this area, or teams in the state championship, what do you think that is? Because we don't necessarily have the resources that those communities do.
Well, Onslow County is, it has numbers. And, you look at the stronger club areas and high school areas, they have numbers too. So, there's a lot of people playing soccer in Onslow County. We have many clubs that they offer them the opportunity to play and improve their game as well. So I think those are big reasons. And then just there's some very good coaching here in the county with the high school level and the club level as well.
Guys, we have a lot more soccer to talk about today. You are listening to Soccer Game Night, and we are here with Dave Ormsby of Jazza, also Coach Miller of Jacksonville, and Coach Kidd of Swansboro. A lot more soccer to come here. I want to remind you, we are live at Seaside, Coney Island. Come on down here in beautiful Swansboro, North Carolina. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. And also, they sell real Coney Island hot dogs. I cannot wait to get some of those chili cheese fries as well. More soccer to come here on WABQ Radio 95.5, 1400, and worldwide at WABQradio.com. Seaside, Coney Island, we are here at Soccer Game Night, here with Jim Fuse, and also here with Cam Ormsby of Jassa, Coach Dave Miller from Jacksonville High School and from Swansboro High School. We're here with Coach Kidd talking soccer tonight, and boy, I tell you what, Jim, we've expanded our sports broadcast on WABQ Radio. We are excited to remind you that we will be having women's soccer starting March 7th when Dixon will be visiting Swansboro for our first women's soccer broadcast.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, we've got some great matchups. We've got, I think, 6 Swansboro games. We've got 3 Jacksonville games. We've even got Croatan is going to be out there. We're going to have Dixon involved, and we've got Northside coming in as well, and which I think is good to see because Northside is going to move into the Coastal Conference in the fall. So, good way to get them wrapped in, and as we get to know the players and the coaching styles and how everything goes, and along those same lines, I wanted to give the coaches a chance here to talk about. They've got some players that have committed, signed their national letters of intent to play college soccer. So we'll start with you, Coach Kidd.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have 2 of our ladies moving forward with their careers. Brianna Kropanak is signed to play at Bucknell, and Shannon Park going to Chuan. Brianna has worked extremely hard over the years with just improving and has a great passion for the game. She has traveled all over the United States as well as abroad to play with her teams, and she's worked hard and deserves it for sure. Very versatile player. She can play anywhere on the field. We play mostly up top or in the midfield, but she's smart and can play pretty much anywhere. And I think she'll do well there. And I think academically, what a great fit. It's a very, very good school academically, and a very good conference in the Patriot League up there, where Cam used to coach on the men's side. So Shannon Park is probably one of the best 1v1 defenders I've coached. Just hard to beat, organizes our defense well. She'll definitely be a key for us this year. And again, I think she's going to a program where she'll jump right in, and I'll be surprised if she doesn't start for them. And their coach is doing a very good job of bringing in some higher level players instead of what they've had in the past. And it's interesting to see what that program's going to do come fall.
Great. And Coach Miller, you got a special player yourself.
Well, I lost one to early graduation. Lexi Moore, she signed early and is at NC State right now in her first semester of college, and hoping she's doing well. I guess they're getting ready to kick off their spring season. So we lost her, and would be graduating this year, but she went early. And then we got Madison Hoops. I can't say enough. She's one of those kids that does not get enough. I mean, if there's a team training in the morning, she's trying to work her way in and get trained in that. Then she's going to find a team in the afternoon and train. She's constantly trying to make herself better. I mean, and you see it on the field. She works and works and works, and all that hard work has paid off. She's going to go to Longwood, with academic, a little bit of academic money and athletic, letter of intent, and I think she'll do well. I think she's going to have a chance to step in and contribute.
It's exciting for us as a club because a lot of these kids that they're talking about are either at Jazza or started their soccer career at Jazza. A kid like Madison Hoops works with our academy program, our U8 through U10 kids. She's been a camp counselor for us. I've gotten to know some of the other girls. from when they were at the club. I mean, it's really exciting, not just for their high schools, but for local soccer in general, for our younger kids to be able to see these players going on to play at the next level and have something to aspire to. It's exciting for everybody.
Speaking of that, I think we had talked earlier. You do have some clinics going on right during this season if people are interested.
Yeah, I'm in the planning phases right now for our spring break camp, which will run April 10th through 13th. That Monday to Thursday, the kids are out for spring break. The registration should go up on the website, the Jazza website, jazza-nc.com, pretty soon, within the next week or so. It'll be a half-day camp, 9 to 12. Kids will be split up, working on skills, working on fun games, and then scrimmaging at the end. It's always a lot of fun. The kids get to work with the local coaches, kids from all different clubs, all different areas. A lot of fun.
Was that aimed at a specific age group?
Yeah, we work at our spring break camp. We go 4 years old up to 14 years old. So that elementary, middle school age group is who we predominantly work with.
Guys, when you're coaching, as you get new high school students coming in, you get freshmen and sophomores, and they get onto the club, talk about how important it is for the leadership of the players that have been on the team for a couple of seasons. Talk about how important it is to mentor the new players.
Oh, it's been huge. And I go more to my guys' side. It started back the first year with the boys team. I had a group of seniors who came to us, coach, we want new uniforms. And I said, guys, we're not up for new uniforms. He said, well, what if we raise the money? I said, oh, well, okay. Well, next day they show up at practice in the morning. I've got like $600. I'm like, guys, I don't think we can do this. I go to the principal. She says, no, I think they need to turn it back. Well, I see them the next day to tell them they got to get the money back. They've doubled their money in 2 days. I've got $1,200. So I go to our principal, and so we ended up getting the uniforms. But anyway, that group of boys kind of set the tradition with the boy on the boys' side, and of course the girls have kind of picked up on it, and that tradition just kind of goes and carries on, and the kids look up to those seniors, and they watch. It's funny to see the kids who were ball boys for you to come into the program and start playing for you, because they've been around it since they were younger, which really helps. I've been there a while. Doug's been there, this year, 7th, 8th, 9th year? Has it been that long already?
Yes.
So I mean, it helps. You've got to establish, you get those traditions, and the younger kids look up to it. And so when they get to high school, it means something. It gives them a sense of belonging, and I think that's what really helps our high school programs here is, the kids buy into it at a young age.
Talk about, Coach Kidd, talk about how important it is. You had kind of a unique opportunity this past year. You had brothers on the team, where one of them is graduating and another one is still playing. Talk about the relationships when you have siblings playing on the same team. Do you ever see a little bit of rivalry between siblings when they're playing together?
Between those two guys and even the older one that was on the team last year, for sure. No, it's really a neat situation to watch the siblings come through, and especially if they get to play with each other. I think they treat it as a special thing that gets to happen. But yes, when they're on separate teams in training, there are serious battles going on, and I'm sure their bragging rights, being talked about until the next training session for sure. And but it is a neat thing to have happen to your program, and I'm sure it's even more special for the families to see that happen as well.
And talk about when I'm interested to know how you guys, first of all, got into coaching high school soccer.
Well, actually, I got in high school soccer my senior year at Catawba College, dealing with injuries. Didn't play a whole lot my junior year. Salisbury High School wanted to start a program, and so my coach came to me at scrimmage Duke. I might have played 5-10 minutes, and he said, "Look," he said, "I know you've been thinking about going to coaching. Would you be interested in coaching Salisbury High School?" I said, "Sure." So he brought me down the next day. I met Mr. Eagle, who was the principal at the time, and I got hired as Salisbury's soccer coach, and that's what got it started, and the rest is history.
I was in class at Appalachian State University during the late spring, and I walk out of class, and my college coach, Art Rex, is sitting there with one of my former teammates from Appalachian State, Tim Ross. And I'm like, okay, what did I do now? And Tim had just accepted the head coaching job at Watauga High School in Boone, and he was there to track me down to see if I wanted to get involved with coaching because I just finished my eligibility. And I went with it. I thought it'd be great to jump into coaching and stay with the game. And that's how I got my start in there. Ironic thing about it now is Tim and his family have moved to Swansboro, and his daughter plays for us now.
Boy, it's a small world, is it not? From Appalachian State to Swansboro.
Well, to go even further into Doug's coaching tree, I was at App State as a player when Doug was at Watauga High School, and I was doing my student teaching at Watauga High School. Doug asked me if I wanted to help in the spring season of my student teaching with his girls program at the time. We go to do off-season indoor stuff, and we show up to the school to meet. I drive in, this girl drives in, one of his other assistant coaches, who Doug knew from another mutual friend, and my wife ends up being that assistant coach that I met at Watauga High School, and now Doug's down here, we're down here, so high school soccer, coach kid, all that's kind of small soccer world has brought us all together.
You know, a good matchmaker.
That's
for sure.
true. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
even then you're at Jazz, and when these two teams play, then who do you root for?
I go to see good soccer, and it's fun because afterwards we kind of get together and we get to talk about the game, and I can sit on either side of the fence and talk about which knucklehead didn't make the right tactical decision. So I get the best of both worlds.
You know, the correct answer to that question would have been the Cleveland Browns. Whenever you're in doubt, root for
All
Cleveland.
else
Right?
fail. All right.
You know, you brought up a good point there, though, Cam Ormsby. And again, Cam Ormsby, you're from Jaza, one of the very important soccer organizations here because it helps keep soccer going year-round. And also, we're going to touch again a little bit later on the top soccer program, which I'm extremely proud to even be able to talk about. But there are parents listening right now, and they have young children that they are interested in getting involved in soccer. What is your advice to them before we take this last break?
Well, can I answer this one? Yeah. Let them have fun. It's a game. Too many parents take it way too seriously, and kids get burnt out. It's amazing. You see some of these kids coming up, and you're like, all right, this kid's coming, and they show up in high school and they don't play because they're fried. Parents push too hard. You gotta let the kids have fun.
Yeah, I totally back that up. It's all about developing a passion for the game. They've got to love it, and that's what they need to learn early on. It's a great game to play. They have a lot of fun doing it. It does not matter if you win or lose when you're at that level of playing at direct level, and that's why I would personally recommend when they get to the right level of going into that academy program, because score's not kept. It's all about teaching the kids the right way to play and instilling that passion of the game inside of them.
All right, welcome back to Seaside, Coney Island. Dave Gardner along here with Jim Hughes. We also have our special guest today, Cam Ormsby from Jaza. We also have Coach Dave Miller from the Jacksonville Cardinals and Coach Kidd from the Swansboro Pirates. And we've been talking soccer for a little bit. Got to talk about some food here again as well. Make sure to come on out for Fish Friday. That is this Friday right here at Seaside, Coney Island. They are more than just hot dogs, Jim. They serve breakfast, lunch, dinner, deep-fried Oreos, which I'm not kidding. I'm really going to eat a few. Hopefully my wife's not listening. And I just wanted to remind you guys that this Saturday at 9 a.m., tune your radio to WABQ 1400 AM or 95.5 FM and listen to Mr. Food. I've listened to it the past few weekends, and there's some good recipes on there, and it's actually a very entertaining show, so make sure to listen to that. Now, the soccer schedule this coming year, as we mentioned on March 7th, we will have a Dixon at Swansboro game. That'll be followed 9 days later on March 16th. We will be at Croatan as Jacksonville goes to Croatan. And then on the 21st and 28th of March, we will be at Swansboro as Jacksonville visits Swansboro, and then White Oak will come into Swansboro. On April 4th, Dixon comes to the north side. On April 6th, we have Croatan coming to Swansboro, and then Swansboro at Jacksonville on the 18th of April, Swansboro at White Oak on the 21st of April, and then we have Northside at Swansboro on the May 4th, and then we close out before the playoffs. Southwest will be coming to Northside. Pretty big soccer schedule, and very, very pleased. And I tell you what, I want to thank all the high schools in Onslow County that they've allowed WABQ Radio to come into their home, whether it's football, basketball, or soccer. We cannot do it without the high schools, and we cannot do it without our sponsors. So the sponsors that you hear during this broadcast, make sure to go visit the local businesses and tell them thank you for allowing WABQ Radio to bring high school sports. I am one of the businesses that sponsors WABQ Sports, and my business picks up every time my commercial plays. If you don't believe me, go to the WABQ Facebook page or go to WABQradio.com, click on the advertisement ad, let the results show themselves. Jim?
Yeah, and also Coach Kidd and Cam wanted to give a shout out to Sanders Ford, who's actually, they've stepped up to help the soccer community. They're now a sponsor for the Battle at the Beach, and they're also sponsoring the jerseys that are being worn out there at Jazza. So I think that's great to see businesses in the community helping folks out. Another thing I wanted to let people know is we will be posting not only on the WABQ website and Facebook page, but on Access Onslow, information on how you can donate to help the Carroll family on their GoFundMe page. So we'll have a link out there for that, so you can get that out and we can help this family in a time of need.
The full soccer schedule will be at WABQradio.com, and it'll also be under publications in the all-new Cued In Monthly newsletter, and that will be tomorrow. Now, ending the show here tonight, guys, we've talked about a lot of the fun stuff with soccer, and I'm talking about a part here that makes a huge impact, I believe, in Onslow County. And just look at the faces of the players when they get the opportunity to play, and that's the top soccer program again. So we're going to close out by talking with Mr. Cam Ormsby about this program one more time.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys with the radio station of giving me the opportunity not only to talk about local soccer, which I'm passionate about at all levels, but particularly the top soccer program, which is new to our club at Jazza, which provides an opportunity for children with disabilities, kids that have been on the sidelines for the last few years, haven't been able to be a part of something, to wear a jersey, to get that team experience and that ability to score a goal and run around and celebrate just like all the other kids get to. We're still signing up players, definitely looking for volunteers that want to partner up with the athletes and be a buddy, help them through their soccer experience. You can find that information at our website at jazza-nc.com. And we're starting in the middle of March after daylight savings times. We'll be running Sundays for 6 weeks.
And the fee for that again for top soccer?
Well, thanks to Dr. Arus, local dentist out of Jacksonville, it's a free registration for those kids. And we really appreciate his sponsorship and providing that opportunity for the kids.